All right, hello everybody. We are back. Hole number 5 here. We're going to be setting up for, and I do recommend, something with some topspin here. Thor or Apocalypse is going to be kind of what I recommend. And that, of course, as you can see, Thor 6 topspin 85, looking pretty good. Going to be a good one. Length seems to be a little bit of an issue on this hole. So here you're going to see me throw on a Berserker ball. Now the only other one that I could do is potentially a snowman ball. But the biggest thing that I've noticed about this hole is a length issue. So going at this with a little bit of a power ball, and of course, Berserker is going to be the best ball for you guys for a master guide because it's going to be replenished. So going with a Berserker ball, you're going to get it back come weekend round. So I think all you have to do, I forget what the payouts are, but anything in the top 50, I believe you're going to recoup. Yeah. I mean, top 50 is definitely, you're going to recoup most of your Berserkers there. The top 25, that's going to be, the real payout. That's going to be where you start to actually, increase balls. So let's take a look here at hole number 5. I do believe, Sniper, Backbone, they're still going to be okay for this hole. I haven't noticed any real issues with this hole in terms of backspin being something that you absolutely need here. So I think a nice mid backspin, Sniper, and Backbone is going to be enough to get the job done. The one thing that I do want to mention, especially if you're using a Berserker ball, for example, keep in mind that when you go towards max Berserker, the rings aren't going to play like max basic ball or even Kingmaker. The level of rings you need to go, especially on the drive, because that's where you're going to be mostly towards max, it's going to need to be more. I'm going to play mine at 1 per ring, even though my accuracy is 1.3 per ring. So even at 1, I'm a little questionable. So I'm going to make sure that here you see a 13 wind, and you can see I need to back off just a touch. You can see kind of max power. It's kind of angled down. Also, I want to note that this is, a downwind shot. So here you see the entire bullseye. So for my aim, I'm going to go over to the edge. That's 10 rings. There's 13, 14. And usually I would, kind of curl it. Here I'm just going to kind of go for a straight shot. And like I said, I am going to take off a little bit for max. So here you're going to see me just play a nice half power. And right around 14 rings. And there you can kind of see, land safely. Keeping it to the left of this second fairway is going to be good for your angle purposes. However, you do have so much wind to the from left to right, that's going to help you even if you are more towards the right edge. But there you can kind of see what we're looking at, and that's one of the biggest reasons to go with a Berserker ball. As you can see, this guy going with I believe this is a 2 power ball, full power, full everything, extra mile. And let's just see, you can kind of see why I'm doing what I'm doing. To ensure the fairway, get it down here. Not to mention, I might get to long iron territory, and it looks like I did. Here's a max long iron right here, and this is going to be more or less where I set up. So let's see if I can't, put something together here. Now, notice that I am keeping it you know, 2-3 rings or 2-3 green grids to the right of the hole, left of the hole before I even adjust. In addition to that, you know, I'm very close to max adjustment here, so you're going to see there's about 11 rings, 13. I'm going to go very many rings here. I'm going to play it like a max distance shot. And let's see how that comes. Oh, just maybe 2 rings too many, but you know, better to be safe than sorry. You don't want to underplay it here. And you can see that nice huge hill. You know, my ring adjustment was probably pretty spot on. I was, more than anything, I was kind of anticipating, you know, some side hops from 3 and 4 and kind of maybe side door that. But you can actually see that that hill is going to resist all those side bounces, because as you could see, it was right up the slope there. And you can see more so than anything, that's the only thing I did wrong with my correction. It was probably actually a spot on ring adjustment. And, you know, had it been a level lie, it would have actually potentially side doored in. It would have been at least very close. So you can see my calculation probably was very good, but you could just see, and just by looking at that putt, how uphill that really is. So you have to land very much, maybe left edge if you're going to go for that one. And let's consider the possibility that you know, you don't have a Pak 7, you're not quite down that far. Keep in mind that you might be you know, into more of a berserker full power, which means that you might have to go a couple extra rings. So think about that as, you know, you probably have with a berserker ball, because you could see that I was more towards max power, not really into power. So since I wasn't really into power there, you know, I went more towards my max ring adjustment, which is 1.08 per ring for a backbone 10. Let's say, you know, hypothetically, you're not as far as I am because you can't get it that far, which, you know, a lot of you guys using the guide might not be able to. You know, Pak 5, it'll still pull that shot off just the same as I just did. However, the only difference will be, you'll be a little bit shorter because you won't have that topspin. So, you know, let's say you're 15 yards behind me and you have to go more towards that max power berserker. Well, make sure you're adding on a couple extra rings for that fact alone. And, you know, playing it instead of 1.08, say you're hitting it at a max backbone, for example, where it's at max power, you might want to play at 0.9 per ring, because you really need to account for some extra rings. You know, an extra 20% will be probably pretty good, considering that, you know, a berserker ball in itself has 13% power, I believe. So I'd play at least 15% extra rings if I'm at a max power on my correction. So, and you know, the only reason that I suggest, you know, 20% is to be on the safe side. You're not going to be in trouble landing it a little to the left and then coming in later. Whereas if you underplay and you land it to the right, well, you see that's where the bunker and the rough are. So keep that in mind, and I'll see you guys momentarily for hole number 6. Good luck.